Well, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is my friend, Swami Champak Anand. We've known each other for a few years now. We met, I think it was 2015 or 2016, probably at
Oh my
the
goodness.
at the May Pranic Healing Camp up in BC in Canada.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that was really something, you
yeah,
know.
it was.
20 years we did that gathering, you
Wow.
know, every May.
Mhm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm delighted to be here, you
mhm.
know. I like to tell folks that I was born at a very early age. And there's actually some kind of literal truth to that because I odd as it sounds to people, I do recall entering the whole birth event.
Wow.
Not the whole thing of it, but the the it was like I was zooming down through a tunnel, through a kind of a funnel tunnel, and then, yeah, and then the bright light of being in the OR. It's like, "I'm here." Wow. So
Watch
so
out,
why
we're
that
both.
is
You've
because I've
arrived.
had yeah, because 'cause I've had so many incarnations. Holy
Mhm,
smoke, you know?
mhm.
And then, uh I was really drawn to enlightened beings. So I got delivered to them, you know. So I took initiation with the Dalai Lama. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay.
I can hear you now. All right.
Yay. The last thing I heard you say was that you took initiation with the Dalai Lama.
Ah. So shall we start over?
Sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Pleased to be here.
We are having an interesting time. Our internet connection has been unstable. So, how about we just take a second and ask for some angels to help out with our internet connection?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
That's
Angels of the internet and electronic connections, please help stabilize our connection and keep it flowing, keep it going well, and protect our conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
so be it. So be it. All right.
Mhm. All right. Hopefully, we're all good now.
Okay. Take two. So I've been gifted with having personal connection with so many extraordinary beings, like personally delivered, you know, to the presence of enlightened beings. I got activated in, I think it was around 1959 as a little kid, 9 years old. I'm walking along the street, and all of a sudden, you know, this voice right behind my head is just screaming my name, yelling at me to run. Run, 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 and I take off like a rocket, and then I'm hearing this, you know, sound like whips right behind me, you know. So I'm flying down the street, and nothing else is happening other than me just flying down the street, you know. So double block. So at the end, you know, I stop and wonder what's going on, you know. So what was that all about? So I go across the street and go back up. Got to check this out. Well, where I had been standing and the voice had appeared, the power lines had broken. Overhead power lines had broken. And so the ground was just on fire. There was just electricity. And so when there's an electrical line and it's what's called under load, which is like the flow is happening, it's like cutting a fire hose. You know, it just whips around. You know, because there's yeah. So I had the wherewithal to not get too close. And so I'm standing across the street, and I took it all in, and there had been nobody on the street to to have yelled at me, because I was very cognizant of all that. So I stood there and I thanked Spirit Realm. I said, "Thank you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are. Thank you." And then I did the classic thing that they talk about in Christianity, where they say, "Have you invited Jesus into your life?" You know?
Mhm.
Well, there's something very alchemic about that. And so the classic thing I did was I made a statement to Spirit Realm. You are welcome in my life.
Mhm.
If you ever feel that I need, to hear from you, you are welcome. So and I just right there, I made this like contract.
Mhm.
I gave permission for Spirit Realm to operate through me. Wow, holy smokes! So much later. I mean, this was 9 years old, and so it's
Mhm.
like this question in my life all the way through. It's like, what was that all about? You know,
Mhm.
well, who could answer that? Who could answer that? It's like, you till finally, you know, I connect up with Master Choa
Mhm.
in around the year 2000. uh, and then it begins to make sense at that time. You know,
Wow. You had already
yeah,
been connected to several other spiritual teachers before that. And it didn't really start to click until you connected with Master Choa. That's interesting.
yeah. I mean, the big picture stuff was happening with the because I took initiation with the Dalai Lama, uh, Karmapa, Rinpoches, and then um, with my who became my really dear friend was Lama Oli Nidal,
Mhm.
and him and I, we just being close to each other, we were like seeing our past lives together,
Mhm.
that we interacted, and this is really not extraordinary when you look at it from that when you make these soul connections with people as we go throughout, we have a tendency, a natural magnetic tendency to be drawn back together again,
Mhm.
especially if we have worked together, you
Mhm.
know which is what this path is really all about. It's about the path of the bodhisattva, the in service to all, you know and it's just like with parenting, how with our children, we hope the best for them. We give them every advantage that we possibly can to propel them onward, you know to propel them forward, to propel them beyond us. So the greatest joy a teacher can have is to have the student surpass the teacher.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then the teacher is like in their glory because they've succeeded. you know and it's the same thing in nature. Nature provides, the seed for the plants and the trees to grow and grow more abundantly, and it'll wait. It's like there was something on the internet just the other day where it's about some seeds that they found, I think in the Great Pyramid or something, that was,
I saw
in
that.
kind of like a time lock of 1500 years or something like that.
Mhm.
And they were able to successfully get these seeds to reactivate and regenerate, and so it's that potential is just waiting for its time, and then when the moment is ready, so yeah. So I've had so many near-death experiences because I just needed the wake-up call. I needed the kick in the pants, to
Mhm.
get me off the distraction and get on the track of purpose. you
Mm.
know? Why, because I mean, why, why would my life be saved so many times?
Mhm.
You know? Because it's not a frivolous sort of thing. I mean, if you look at it, just the dynamics of it all, for spirit realm to be able to manifest from that realm of non-physical and make something happen into the physical, that's a huge investment, a huge expenditure of energy, a huge focus, and so on and so forth. And so then becomes the task of repaying, in effect, the debt.
Mhm.
'Cause it's like, okay, you've been given this gift. Okay, pay it back. So this is what I often recommend to people that have had, like an amazing near-death experience, and they're just kind of cruising in life. They're not really doing much with their life. It's like, you know, I so what I suggest to them is to do something,
Mhm.
even if it's just like volunteering at a soup kitchen, you know, or a homeless shelter or something like that. You know, do something that gives back.
Mm.
Because
Mhm.
we have been given this gift, you know, and it's kind of like a mortgage. you know? And the way mortgages work and why they set mortgages up is because there's gonna be interest being paid back to the mortgage holder, and so they have this incentive, to wanna get people to have mortgages because they're gonna make money off of this person, you know? So same thing with spirit.
I have to say this because this is so interesting, that you said that, because I don't think you knew this ahead of time. My day job currently is in a mortgage broker's office.
Oh, there you go. It's funny how all this stuff just kinda comes out, you know? Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
kinda
so
like
so that
spirit has invested in you by giving you this gift of protecting your life when you were 9, and then how many times were
oh
you
gosh.
were you brought back
Yeah,
to life?
yeah, it's like half a dozen at least, and there's a whole
Wow,
bunch that I don't remember, you know?
wow.
Yeah, it's like I
A whole
was in
lot to
a
pay forward.
yeah, yeah, I was in a marriage, children, the whole bit, and, it was not a healthy situation. uh,
Mhm,
so, uh, I had caught pneumonia, and, uh, I had a near-death experience laying on the bed, and it's like, I'm laying there, and uh, I was in so much pain, and then I just went deeper, deeper, quiet, quiet, still, 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 and then I just felt my breathing stop, slow down, and stop, and that was so peaceful because it was the labor of breathing was so hard, yeah,
mhm,
and so then the heart stopped, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so nice, this is so serene because the effort of pumping the heart, oh, you know, and then I just felt myself rise up out of my body, and I was looking down at my body and going, "Wow, look at this." And then the whole proverbial tunnel of light thing, boom, there it was, and I'm zooming along it, and it was very interesting sensation 'cause, it was like as if I was walking, but not with the legs moving. So it's more like when you go to these airports and they got these long conveyor belt uh, escalator sort of things, and people just stand on them and they just like move down. So it was that sensation.
mhm.
So anyways, but I hadn't had that. I hadn't been to an airport like that yet at that time. Anyways, so right down at the very end of the tunnel, there was this gatekeeper standing there in silhouette. So I couldn't see the features, but I could see the shape. But just past that being. I could see like the most beautiful picnic place in the world that one could imagine, this paradise sort of thing of just like, oh gosh, I really want to go there.
Mhm.
So the gatekeeper says to me, well, my name, um, let me see, let me get this back correctly because I need to say the exact words. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue living the way you are, or are you going to get into your books?
Mm.
I mean, it was a commanding statement, question being made to me, like I had to decide right there at that moment. You know?
Mhm.
Well, I'm kind of thinking fast, it's like I'm already dead because, yeah, so yeah, continue living, it's like, it becomes really, the answer becomes really obvious, and, but also too, it was like, if I accept, then it's like he's going to step aside and I can enter this paradise sort of place. Or if I answer the question, it's like this pivotal sort of thing. So I went to the higher answer and I said, I cannot continue living the way I am. So it has to be the books. So be it. Thunderclap and flash of light, and there I am laying on the bed again, and now I'm breathing. You know, like as if the paddles of life have been put on and jump started, and you know. So I come out of that, and then 2 weeks later, opportunity presented itself to me, where classic situation that I walked into, and all the evidence. We had moved so many times, and so um, it was a classic exit strategy being handed to me.
Mm.
You know? And so I uh, I told my wife, it's like, you know, it's over. You know, I mean, I've told you this 5 times already, but now it really is over. You know, because I'm realizing that it's connected as I'm
Mhm.
sitting there, you know, uh, in the chair that I commanded myself not to get out of until this was finished. You know,
Mm.
so I said, so do you want to live here or do you want to live in this other house that and I'll set up? So we made the decision and then so moved forward with that because I was realizing that I was going to die if I stayed in that relationship because
Mm.
I'd already died because of that, And so, are you going to continue living the way you are? Uh, or are you going to get into the books? What's the books? The bigger picture, the bigger, the bigger calling.
I gotta tell you, I am glad that I didn't need a near-death experience to get out of my first marriage.
Oh, you're so lucky. It's really expensive. Holy smokes. I mean, it's like I did feel like, several times in my life about, gosh, I'm a bit of a dunderhead. That it takes that much of a heavy hammer for me to wake up. But that's life,
Oh,
Gosh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like right after that, So now I'm a single guy again, and I'm walking along the street in Vancouver, and I happen to see out of the corner of my eye this sign on this door, and I walked past, and then I stopped, and then I walked deliberately. I walked backwards, like when you rewind a video,
Mhm.
and I'm watching myself do all this, and it's like I'm totally amused with myself so many times. So I so I just walked backwards, yeah, and then turned, opened the door, went stairs, went into the office, and there's about 16 or 20 people sitting on the floor in this open office, bare office space. and they're sitting at telephones and all that. And there's this reception person. And she says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Well, actually, it's more like, can I help you?"
Mm.
And so she says, "Wait a minute. Are you a carpenter?" And so I'm really into this thing about truth, the absolute truth at, at the time. And I said, "Well, it's not what I am, but it is what I do."
Mm.
And she says, "Just a minute." She asked me my name, and at that time, my birth name was Michael, so I was using the name Michael. And so she turns around, she's "Just a minute," turns around and whistles, says, "Hey, everybody, this is Michael. He has just walked in. Remember yesterday I was saying that we need a carpenter? Well, here he is." And this roar, because there was like 11 other Michaels in this group. And now I'm the 12th Michael. And
12 is
by
a
the
big
way,
number.
this was the fledgling Greenpeace uh, organization that,
Wow.
that were just trying to get started in Vancouver. I said, "So, wow." I said, "Okay, so what do you need?" And they said, "Well, we need the office renovated." Okay, well, what kind of fill me in. What kind of renovation do you need? Well, we need office cubicles. We need desks, so that we can, because we have doing a lot of phone work here. I said, "Okay, what kind of budget you got?" "Ooh, well, we got $50." I said, "Okay, I can work with that."
That's
I says,
awesome.
and I had just recently graduated from trade school, gone to college and gotten somewhat of a degree in carpentry. So I was highly skilled. 9 months of project um, strategies, computation of concrete beams, and all that kind of really advanced math, and so on and so forth. So you know, but I had made some contacts, and so we had some CEOs come in and visit us in the class because they were looking for bright young graduates, to roll into their company. So I had this contacts list. So I said, "Oh, well, can I use your phone?" So I called downtown, and the Sears Tower was just doing finishing the revolving restaurant on top of the Sears Tower in Vancouver there. So I just asked by name for the superintendent. And so I got put through, had to go through the secretaries and find, and he's, "Hello." And I said, "Yeah," and I said my name, and that I am, graduate from the class you'd come to visit. I said, I'm calling on behalf of the Greenpeace Foundation. Do you have any building materials that you would like to donate? And the guy says, "Are you for real?" And I said, "Yes." And I explained the situation. And he says, "Okay, busy guy. What these busy people like to do is they like to delegate responsibility and just put it on their checklist and, you know, get it done." Boom. He says, "Okay, bring a truck down next Tuesday, at 4 o'clock, and we'll put some wood on the material in the back of your truck." So pull in down there, and then out of the sky, from this big flying crane comes 2 bundles of plywood
Mm.
landed on the back of the truck, you know. And they unhook it, and it's like, "Okay," the flag man, "Okay, you're out of here." The whole thing took like 5 minutes. Just get down there, just get it. No questions asked, no paperwork, no nothing. Just in, out. Thank you. You know, Checklist. you know, you know. So with that, I was able to use that to make partition walls and make tables and desks and all that kind of stuff. Because that's it's like there's about 50 sheets in a bundle, so it's about 100 sheets of plywood.
That's a lot.
You know? Yeah, so that's huge score. That was a big chunk of change. You
Mhm.
know? And so that was part of are you going to get into your books?
Mm.
Are you going to, that was part of the paying it back,
Mhm.
paying back the mortgage, you know, being the difference that we wish to see in others,
Mhm.
being the change we wish to see in others. So Gandhi made some quote about that, you
Mhm.
know. And so it began the payback of, why I had been invested into. And so when we do when we do that, it's like the the broker wants to have a good return,
Mhm.
you know, because when the broker gets a good return, then what they can do is they can afford to take chances on other people, you
Yeah.
know, So in effect, what we're doing is we're enabling others when
Mhm.
we pay back our loans, uh, so that there's enough profit in there that they can take the chance on riskier people, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So if we default, then not only do we um, injure ourselves, but we disable the ability for others.
Mhm.
You know, we
Mhm.
ruin it for them, sort of thing.
Mhm.
So that's why it's always really important to to take care of all those things in an ethical manner. And then also too, what happens is, like, I had made the commitment. There I was, 9 years old, welcoming spirit realm to operate through me.
Thank you for joining me for the very first episode of Heartfire Sessions. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. And just one key takeaway, one thought I want you to have from this session is, what have you been given? What has spirit or God or grace or the universe, however you define that, given to you? And how can you repay that? How can you pay that forward into other people? Just think about that and let me know. Write in the comments, what have you received and how can you pay it forward? All right. Thank you so much for joining me. This was just part 1 with Swami Champak Anand. There's more to come. I have several more hours of video to go through and edit. Please click that like button, click that subscribe button, and share this video with someone you love. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much.